President Adama Barrow pledges better fiscal policies in consideration of COVID-19 crisis. DR Congo have extended the lockdown for 2 more weeks amidst a softened voice on restrictions. A mobile app to track presence of the coronavirus has been developed for health workers in Ghana. This and more coming on The World Today. Hello, it is 1800 GMT here in our studios in Banjul. You are watching the World Today News Bulletin on Africa TV. I am Amadou Kante, and now the news in detail. Now, Director of Health Services has expressed concerns over challenges faced by the Health Ministry to get the public accept the existence of COVID-19. The Health Communication Units of the Ministry describe public reactions to the ongoing awareness campaign as insufficient to contain the spread of the disease. More work will now have to be done, says Dr. Bitai. Details of that in this report.
The Ministry of Health continues to face challenges in getting the public convinced of the reality of the coronavirus global pandemic. The government of the Gambia committed $500 million, from which health workers are supposed to enlighten every household on the preventive measures recommended by the World Health Organization. Over a month after the confirmation of COVID-19 in the Gambia, awareness remains a challenge in different communities across the country. In the view of Dr. Mustafa Bitey, more work must now be directed to outreach programs.
What we are seeing is that surprisingly, there's a big denial. You have people thinking that this COVID-19 is a hoax. It's not true. The ministry is doing it. And it becomes more worrying, even in communities, for example, where you have a suspected case or you even have a confirmed case, and there's too much denial around there. So I think it's good. I think the perception of the society, it's important. So that's why the risk communication is engaging this group.
Denial of the existence of coronavirus appeared in public focus upon confirmation of the second case of COVID-19 somewhere in the Upper River region. The Gambian who returned from France had the support of his community in Numuel to challenge the need for treatment, resulting to the use of security forces.
To that fact, and because he is in a community, it is going to be very difficult, or if in fact they found it difficult to reason with him and even with the community as to the need to isolate him and also to quarantine even the community as to anybody who he has come into contact with. So the security forces were tasked to go and ensure that the health authorities were able to have access to this individual and as well also to trace all those people he had contacts with. So the police force was there and the Gambia Armed Forces were also there. We were represented by our battalion in Basse. And that was effected, and the individual was evacuated to Banjul. And the community, also the compound, was surrounded by our personnel as well as the police to ensure that 14 days of self-isolation is effected on them.
Trend in the application of the WHO quarantine measures has changed in the Gambia after 2 cases of the virus were confirmed on people who had already completed their 14-day quarantine obligation. As a result, the quarantine period is being considered for extension by the Ministry of Health, and that testing has become compulsory on anyone admitted for the period of observation.
But the other 2, because we've changed the policy, that now everyone who is in quarantine will be tested. So those 2, you realize that we are still in quarantine. They were left with few days, so they were tested. Now going forward, we've made the decision that for your second question, everyone in quarantine will be tested, because we've seen the evidence. But if we had done all this we do for 200, 500 people and we did not see any evidence that is yielding fruit, then we would have been wasting our tests. But now we've realized that this is a very good move and it should be taken up.
Since the outbreak of the disease in the Gambia, A total of 397 tests were conducted, out of which 10 were positive of the coronavirus. Out of the 363 people, 265 have completed quarantine, 642 contacts have been traced, and 310 out of the 409 people have completed follow-ups. 4 out of the 7 active cases under treatment have been discharged after confirmation of full recovery. For iAfrica News, I am Juldenjai Suare.
From the report on the situation of the coronavirus as of yesterday, we will move on to reported matters of the EU, because the European Commission has granted $500,640,000, equivalent to 9 million euros, as budget support for the Gambia to implement its response to the COVID-19 pandemic. A media release from the EU office in the Gambia stated that the budget support could contribute to catalyze financial assistance from development partners to mitigate sanitary, economic and social costs from the COVID-19. Ambassador Attila Lajos, the EU head of delegation in the Gambia, described the offer as an important milestone in Team Europe's response to this crisis in the Gambia, noting that no one is safe until everybody is safe. This budget support involves the transfer of 9 million euros to the National Treasury of the Gambia to be used in accordance with the country's own public financial management system and policy priorities. And from the development of the EU supports to the Gambia, next we head to Egypt, because Egyptians have welcomed the commencement of the Ramadan with mixed feeling, one for the rewards and the other for the coronavirus global pandemic. Muslims around the world celebrate the holy month once in every year, but many would observe it this year in confinement, as countries are in lockdown to avoid the spread of COVID-19. Citizens will have to adopt new ways to observe the holy month, as measures to stem the spread of the virus will continue till the end of Ramadan. For more details of that, we go with this report.
For centuries, Muslims have been celebrating Ramadan. This year, they will have to review how they celebrate the holy month that used to bring people together the most.
There are traditions that we'll have to let go of, because we're in an emergency. Family gatherings or having iftar in public places is old Cairo. I will not be able to see my sisters this year. All families now understand that social distancing is vital to keep us safe.
The pandemic has put many under financial strain, making it difficult to prepare for a month that usually sees Egyptians spending triple.
There are things we can still do to enjoy Ramadan, like getting decorations for our streets. I wanted to buy lanterns for the kids, but I could not afford it. I'm trying to make the kids as excited as possible, but Ramadan this year is totally different. We can't move as freely, and because of work restrictions, I'm not spending as usual.
Egypt has been shutting down mosques for weeks to enforce social distancing measures. That will continue in Ramadan, depriving millions of their public Ramadan night prayers.
Banning the prayers is very hard on me. This is an opportunity that is only available once a year, and it makes us connect with Ramadan. It is also related to mass gathering, and that is a concern. Ramadan is totally different this year.
Stretching into Ramadan, the pandemic is hitting Muslims in Egypt and the world where it hits the most. Measures to control the disease will be depriving many from their favorite moments in the year. So Egyptians will have to come up with new ways to enjoy the holy month this year.
And from the report there in Cairo, Egypt, we come back home, because President Adama Barrow participated in the ECOWAS online summit meant to address incidents of the COVID-19 in West Africa. ECOWAS had immediately made available financial support in addition to assistance from international partners for the passage of medical supplies for the fight against COVID-19. More details of that in this report.
President Adama Barrow on Thursday shared with his colleagues in the economic community of West African states that the COVID-19 has harmed the Gambia's economy, with the country's GDP expected to drop. He made this disclosure on Thursday during a video conference of the ECOWAS Heads of State and Government Summit centered on the situation and impact of coronavirus on the ECOWAS region. It is tragic that majority has no regular income and no social security in case of loss of wages.
The global lockdown and scaling down of economic activities have already shown adverse effects on our country. Small and medium enterprises have been hammered by the lockdowns, and many workers have either lost their jobs or work on reduced work schedules. The disruption has negatively impacted on supplies, investment, and services, especially in the tourism sector. Remittances have declined, and our GDP is expected to drop from 3.5% to 0.6% if the trend continues.
The Gambian leader, together with his cabinet ministers, took part in the ECOWAS online summit, during which he urged efforts for
the 2 tests have been conducted. As of 21st April 2020, 10 cases have been confirmed within the country, with 1 death.
In view of the numerous challenges, Mr. Barrow pledged to revisit policies to address COVID-19, giving health and social protection measures priority.
Financially, industrial and trade policies will be reviewed further. However, the immediate policy response to the current situation is to focus on saving lives, limiting the spread of the virus, and managing the crisis.
The economic community of West African states had immediately availed financial support in addition to assistance from partners for the purchase of medical supplies and equipment essential for the fight against the pandemic. According to data by the West African Health Organization, the 15 member states recorded 5,474 confirmed cases, out of which 1,567 have recovered, 140 have died. As of Monday, 3,767 active cases were reported in the region. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Aminata Job.
ECOWAS head of states there discuss on the impact of the COVID-19 in the region. There's more news coming ahead, but for now we'll take a break and come back shortly with the remaining of this story. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
COVID-19. Leave no one behind. Coronaviruses are a large family of viruses that cause illness, ranging from the common cold to more severe lung diseases. COVID-19 is the most recently discovered disease caused by coronavirus. As we fight this pandemic, we must be kind by supporting others. COVID-19 is not specific to any sex, gender, race, nationality, or skin color. So, let us not stigmatize or discriminate against anyone or certain groups. Fear of exclusion and discrimination may result in those who may have contracted COVID-19, including migrants, to hide their symptoms rather than seek treatment. This puts everyone at risk of getting sick. In many contexts, people who migrate to work, study, or join their families are key players in nation building, including combating COVID-19. Let us all play our role in challenging misinformation and discrimination against migrants. Be considerate of others' needs and do what you can to help. Encourage others to wash their hands frequently. Avoid touching their face, eyes, mouth, and nose. Practice proper cough etiquette. Avoid public places. Practice social distancing and stay at home if they feel unwell. The Gambia is called the Smiling Coast because its people are kind. Let's show that kindness in fighting COVID-19, our common enemy. Let's fight it together. For more information, or if you experienced any symptoms, dial 1025.
Welcome back. You are watching the World Today News Bulletin on Africa TV. And now to the rest of the stories. Muslims around the world have on Friday begun the month of fasting despite the striking impact of the COVID-19 global pandemic. Gambians in one end have shared concerns on the kind of Ramadan they are blessed with this year, with call for solidarity and support for one another. Let's have more details of that in this report.
The Gambia joins the rest of the world to observe the holy month of Ramadan beginning Friday following confirmation by the Supreme Islamic Council on sighting the new crescent on Thursday evening. The period of fasting according to Islamic jurisprudence will last for 29 or 30 days during which Muslims abstain from food and water during the day. The 9th month of the Islamic calendar is regarded as the 4th pillar of Islam. President of the Supreme Islamic Council, Sheikh Muhammad Lamin Toure, delivered the speech for the commencement of the 2020 Ramadan.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin Gambia jampana mo sotota mi alonko wolo mu sajo manjanti rumba membe Gambia kombo jambanjeli bala wofana ya itandi ko ate ane mo tang ibe sede ata karola. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin wo kamala Supreme Islamic Council Gambia abe nyin dalilolu kela la semboti poruka kankularo ke Gambia banko kanjanko inshallah nadia taala sama arajumo wala mu sunkarola tilfoloti Gambia jang.
Muslims strive dutifully during the month of Ramadan to crave the mercy of God through prayers and humanitarian service. However, this year's fasting coming in the middle of the COVID-19 is likely to pose a challenge on the livelihood of people. A vendor at the Coastal Road Market in Yundum, Sohna Fall, wondered when shall business return to its footing.
Xolam marché bi ñepp ngi tej légui jaaykat yi lekk yi rek fi nekk légui ñooñu tay su ñëwé ba tout ñu tej légui borom bagage yi wara ubbi nga wara dem jënd ay kaas wara jënd leneen ak leneen nga lool mom dafa metti na torop.
The entire fight against the coronavirus demands public consciousness due to the fact that health comes before business in the view of Asanju.
It seems like there is nothing threat happening in the world, but people are taking it as a light. And we know our condition, we know the standard how we are living. So we need to take great measures to fight this epidemic.
A retired skills specialist, Keba Sise, urged Gambians to support one another during this difficult time.
ñu xéwénante ci dal ak mbolom ku da xamné ya ngay business di njaay lek ak jigen ñi de faratu xamuñ dara ñen ñi ñu ngi bay seen jabon ñen ñi seen jëkër yi dé ñen ñi seen jëkër yi amuñ doolé wala ñu fassé leen ñu ngi amé njabot di faratu ci marché bi rawatina ak ñi nga xamné dañuy jaay lek yi ñu ngi seen fita ngi naaw diina ji itam sax mu ngi melni diina ji daanuna ndax bo di julli te sa fit togut amulo julli te juma yaangi tej te yoy yep wax deug yalla ñun de musuñ ko gis.
The spiritual reward of fasting are believed to be multiplied during Ramadan. Accordingly, Muslims refrain not only from food and drink but also tobacco products, sexual relations and sinful behaviors.
Gambian joins the rest of the world to observe the holy month of Ramadan. And from that report, next we head to DRC. Because the government of DR Congo is now allowing limited movement of people and essential businesses to operate within the capital Kinshasa. But the authorities have also extended the country's lockdown for another 2 weeks, which have generated dissenting views from citizens. Residents in the capital are mandated to put on face masks to avoid the spreading the coronavirus disease. For more of that, we go with this report.
Motorists with a pass issued by the DRC government are allowed to enter Gombe, the commercial hub of Kinshasa. The area was off limits to most people for 2 weeks because it had the highest number of COVID-19 cases in the city. The government has extended the lockdown for 2 more weeks, but allowed businesses providing essential goods and services to operate. Some of those who have to carry on adhering to the lockdown are unhappy about it.
We understand that our leaders are trying to save lives by extending the lockdown in Gombe. But how are we going to pay rent and feed our families? Most of us earn a daily wage.
The government has also made it compulsory for Kinshasa residents to wear masks when out in public.
Our leaders should allow more people to operate in the city now that they've ordered us to wear masks. I believe the masks will limit the spread of the coronavirus.
People without masks will face a fine of about $3. Kinshasa is the epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic in the DRC. The government imposed a partial lockdown in the central business district that started on the 6th and ended on the 20th of April. But that shutdown led to an increase in business activity in other areas. Few people there observe social distancing measures.
If you visit areas like Gambela or Masina, you'll find crowds of people talking very close to each other. Health officials advised us to stay 1 meter apart, but people there don't respect that. Some policemen just watch helplessly.
The government had considered extending the confinement zone to other areas in the city after a rise in COVID-19 cases, but the idea has been put on hold. The COVID-19 task force in Kinshasa says it managed to detect 30 cases of the disease during the initial period of the lockdown. Health teams will now start a door-to-door search of patients in the Gombe neighborhood to curb the spread of the disease.
And from the report there in DR Congo, finally, we end the news bulletin in Ghana because Ghana, of course, has developed a new app for health workers to be able to track COVID-19 patients as number of infections continue to rise in the country. The West African nation has registered more than 1,000 coronavirus cases, and the government has lifted the lockdown, making more people worried about their safety. The application is usable on Android phones, but government promised to help citizens to get access to other versions of the app. For more of that, here's more details in this report.
Radia Mohammed is installing the COVID-19 tracker app on her phone. She doesn't have the virus, but says it may come in handy as cases of infections in Ghana continue to rise.
Since the government has now lifted the lockdown, we are all at risk. So I'm downloading the COVID-19 tracker app to inform the health officials whenever I have symptoms of COVID-19.
Ghana has more than 1,000 cases of the coronavirus. The government has developed the COVID-19 tracker app to trace people infected with the virus.
When the app was launched, it wasn't available on the Android, the Play Store, and then the Apple Store. So basically, it's an APK file. APK file is associated with Android phones only. For example, if a developer is developing an app, they normally create an APK file. You can go to their website and then download and install only on Android.
The app allows people to input data including their telephone number and information of any symptoms they have of the coronavirus. With such data, health officials can trace contacts of people infected with COVID-19. But the app has other limitations. To install it on some Android phones, people have to allow security breaches.
IT experts say people who are not tech-savvy may find it difficult to install the app on their phones, and it may limit its effectiveness in contact tracing.
IT experts say it may take a while for the app to be available on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store because it has to go through security checks. The government says it is finalizing the process of making the app available on the app stores so that many Ghanaians can download.
Well, Ghana using technology in the fight against the deadly coronavirus pandemic. Well, viewers, that's all we have for you on this news bulletin. But for more on this and other stories, you can also log on our website on africa.tv. Many thanks for the pleasure of your company. Stay safe and bye for now.
COVID-19. Leave no one behind. Coronaviruses are a large family of viruses that cause illness, ranging from the common cold to more severe lung diseases. COVID-19 is the most recently discovered disease caused by coronavirus. As we fight this pandemic, we must be kind by supporting others. COVID-19 is not specific to any sex, gender, race, nationality, or skin color. So, let us not stigmatize or discriminate against anyone or certain groups. Fear of exclusion and discrimination may result in those who may have contracted COVID-19, including migrants, to hide their symptoms rather than seek treatment. This puts everyone at risk of getting sick. In many contexts, people who migrate to work, study, or join their families are key players in nation building, including combating COVID-19. Let us all play our role in challenging misinformation and discrimination against migrants. Be considerate of others' needs and do what you can to help. Encourage others to wash their hands frequently. Avoid touching their face, eyes, mouth, and nose. Practice proper cough etiquette. Avoid public places. Practice social distancing and stay at home if they feel unwell. The Gambia is called the Smiling Coast because its people are kind. Let's show that kindness in fighting COVID-19, our common enemy. Let's fight it together. For more information, or if you experience any symptoms, dial 1025.
Maria, even if you want lampican, you want Casper GB. Casper will fill our banter. Could you fill in a Casper or Sanna?
Kutoka risuwa kuitale kwa.